What's good, mamas? It's me, Di. Welcome to Diverse Mama Podcast. And if you are new, welcome to you too. Glad you've joined us. Today we have Dominique as our guest. She is a mobile doula, Lamaze childbirth educator, and a certified breastfeeding specialist located in DC. Hey, Dominique.
Hey, Di. Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Good, good. So I know you have about two kids and one on the way. Where are they at? They're not making no noise or nothing.
Girl, I have them upstairs with their dad watching a movie.
Okay, okay. Same here. So how many weeks are you?
I'm 20 weeks.
Okay, look,
Yeah,
halfway there.
halfway there.
Oh, that's nice. So have you had any, experience like good or bad experiences with your birth, with your previous kids? Have you had any troubles or has it been a smooth birthing experience for you?
So, for both of my pregnancy, well, now all three of my pregnancies, they've been really easy and my births were uneventful, but I did have um, three miscarriages. I actually miscarried before each child. So before my first, before my second, and before this pregnancy. And the funny thing is, I feel like I woke up and I'm 20 weeks pregnant because for a while I was just acting like I wasn't pregnant until I got out of my first trimester, because
Mm,
the last miscarriage was actually at 10 weeks. And I had
mm,
just started telling people because I felt like I was close enough out of the first trimester where I was safe. And
right.
then I had that loss. I think it hit me harder than the first two.
Yeah, it's that experience. I was in your boat too, where I'm like, okay, when I had my first miscarriage, I was like, okay, if I get pregnant again, I'm not saying anything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell people when I give birth, I was one of
Mm-hmm.
those. But they say I think it's the safe time to start talking is when you're in your second trimester.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely, I feel you there. I feel you there.
Yeah. So it's funny. I started telling people. Well, I told my parents and my sisters before I told my other family and my friends, and they kept asking me if I was going to tell my daughters
Mm,
because I was showing, and I'm like, no, they're young. They were 3 and 1 at the time. I'm like, they're young. I don't want to have to explain a loss. So I
yeah,
just waited,
yeah.
and then when I started telling people, it was kind of like, of course you're pregnant, like as we can
Showing,
see.
you're showing.
Yeah, I was showing. Yeah, I was showing for sure. Yeah.
Oh, so how old are your two? You have two girls?
Yeah, I have two girls. Audra, she just turned 4 in November, and Aubrey, she turned 2 in October.
Wow. So we have kids close in age. My son just turned 4 in November.
Okay.
And then my second will be turning 2 in January, right when I'm having my other baby. So it's like
Okay. Okay.
exactly 2 years apart. But yeah, that's amazing. Look, I was trying to have a girl. It wasn't happening for me.
I was trying to have a boy. It's funny because I just knew that this one was going to be a boy. And I was like, I think I want to do a gender reveal. And then when I was going to my appointment, I was talking to my partner and he was like, do you want to know? I was like, yeah, I'll find out. So when they asked me, they called and said, your blood work is back. Do you want to know? I was like, tell me. They were like, it's a girl. And I'm like, oh.
And this is the one you're pregnant with now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
this one.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
three girls.
I was learning that the men are the one who carry the gender. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think they spit out
The Y chromosome.
yeah,
Yep.
right, right. And I'm like, damn, like we can't do nothing over here.
Yeah.
We gotta catch it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's funny. Okay, so wow, you do a lot of different things. You're a doula. So can you explain what a doula is for the listeners?
Yeah, a doula is kind of like a birth coach. So we assist families with carrying out their birthing goals, whether that be wanting an unmedicated natural birth or a home birth or a planned cesarean. We support them through that process. Typically, we meet with the families sometime in the second trimester and offer just information and explaining what to expect during the childbirth experience and immediate postpartum. We provide them emotional support. And then during the actual labor and birth, we're there by their side, providing physical comfort.
Okay.
And we also can help with, breastfeeding initiation immediately postpartum in the hospital. And we tend to have one postpartum visit afterwards, but it's not the same as like a postpartum doula. We just typically just check in with them to see how they process their birth, whether or not they have any questions, how they're coping, making sure that they're, mentally okay and that they have the supports that they need.
Yeah. I think some of us, we're lacking in that area with the support, especially let's say with men. Some men don't know how to nurture their women, so it's kind of like then that's when the postpartum kind of starts to happen. I that's what my opinion I think is. So that's good that doulas and you as a doula offer that support. So you also are a Lamaze childbirth educator. Can you explain that as well?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the doula piece though, because I am a birth doula and I'm also a postpartum doula, and you hit it on the nail. As a postpartum doula, I'm there to nurture the mom so she can nurture her baby. And a lot of times, as women, we're taught to kind of like carry all of the responsibility and all of the weight. And we feel like, because our moms and our grandmoms, they did this, they didn't have a lot of help, or maybe they didn't have a lot of hope. We can do this, but we fail to realize sometimes that it's the experience for the partner as well. And if you have some extra support, some extra hands, it just makes the experience more enjoyable for the whole family unit.
That's right.
And especially, for us moms who have multiple kids, I'm definitely hiring me a postpartum doula after this. I didn't have a postpartum doula for my first births. I did have a birth doula, but I didn't have that postpartum support. And I was a little resentful because I didn't have all of the support that I needed. I was tired. I was trying to breastfeed. I was in pain, and I know having 2 toddlers, I'm going to need some extra hands around the house. So I'm definitely going to hire me postpartum doula.
Look, we're in the same boat. I'm trying to figure out how in the world I'm about to do the same thing. Like, what am I going to do? But yeah, that's great that you offer the postpartum experience, because there's some doulas that just surface just that. So they're bringing both because that's the total package. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, the Lamaze childbirth educator, I remember I was in a Lamaze class, and that's where they taught me like how to breathe during contractions. So is that what you do with that?
Yes. So I'm a Lamaze trained childbirth educator, and in addition to breathing being one way of coping and managing your pain during labor, we also teach families the importance of moving around and staying up and allowing gravity to help the baby descend, as well as the importance of that immediate skin to skin after baby is born. We teach families about some of the common hospital practices that may not be best for mom and baby, including some of the tests that they do on the baby after the baby is born. And we educate them on what can be done while the baby is skin to skin and what can wait until after that golden hour, because breastfeeding success is largely contributed to immediate initiation after the birth.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. You have a lot of great services, girl. Look, I'm gonna hire you. I can't even hire you yet, I don't think, but I'm gonna hire you one of these days. I know I'm gonna get pregnant again, so I'm gonna use your services for sure.
You can hire me. We can make it work so we can talk. Yeah.
Yes. You're also a certified breastfeeding specialist. So what does that entail?
So there are a lot of acronyms when you talk about breastfeeding support. A certified breastfeeding specialist is the equivalent to a certified lactation counselor, and I help families with the normal lactation process and initiation. So I can help with positioning and latch and making sure that the baby is transferring milk. I could do weighted feeds to see whether or not the baby had gained any weight after the feed. What I'm not able to do is assist with complicated issues. So say if the infant has like a cleft palate or the mom has some breast abnormalities, I would refer out to an international board certified lactation counselor at IBCLC.
Okay. But so it's kind of like you help with women with just basic lactating concerns. So like you said, how to latch, how to get the baby to drink the milk. But if there's any issues, you're like, okay, I'll send you to someone who can help you with that part of it, just like the issue, like the infections, I believe.
Yeah. So like if there are any medical issues that a lot of times breastfeeding complications are the result of poor latch and positioning. If the lack of success is contributed to anything outside of that, like a medical issue, I would refer out. Now, I can help moms deal with their sore nipples and, treat those types of injuries that often happen immediately after birth. But anything more complicated, I will refer out.
Okay, well, that's great. For the ones who are listening, when you are breastfeeding, it's not always prone to you're going to have all these different complications that she mentioned. If everything goes successfully, it's normally a smooth process. You just have to kind of get it right, the first time and hire Dominique because she'll get you there. So I understand that during the pandemic, you actually weren't even doing this type of job. And what happened with that? Can you explain?
Yeah, so I had became a birth doula after I birthed my second child, who is now 2. But I was working full time in education for a nonprofit, and I hadn't began practicing as a birth doula. But during the pandemic, I just got this feeling that I needed to do something different. And I started meeting with a business coach and was making plans to launch my business. But I was so scared to branch out because I had been with this job for 13 years. And it was like that type of job that people would say, girl, you better not leave that good job. It was great benefits. It was great salary. And I was comfortable, but they actually had a lot of layoffs and they laid me off. It's okay. People were like, I'm going to pray and make sure I'm going to pray and ask God to, keep you safe so you're not laid off. Right. And I would tell people, no, don't pray for that. Pray that God blesses me with what he wants me to be doing. Right. So
that's great to say that. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly it. His will of whatever it is that he wants you to do.
Yeah. And I took that as confirmation that I'm doing the right type of work. Mainly because even though the job was so great, I wasn't really happy. I wasn't fulfilled. But doing this work, it's kind of, I feel like I came full circle because I had studied to become, I wanted to be a pediatrician in undergrad, and I got my undergrad in pre-medicine, and I actually interned at a hospital in London in a maternity ward. So I feel like 13 years later, I've come full circle to do work that's meaning and fulfilling to me.
Wow, that sounds kind of like my story. I've started, doing things in the beginning, and then I drifted off to, okay, now, I have a master's in finance and I do a lot of financial work and help people with business, but then I still circle back around to helping parents. Like, for example, I'm really good with helping parents educate their children, because a lot of parents, they think, okay, I'm going to give my child, okay, we're going to watch Mickey Mouse at the age of 6 months old. And I'm like, no, only thing they should be learning is education, only because that's, kids learn so much when they're young. We can give them Mickey Mouse later. So I do a lot of coaching for that. And I just kind of circled back around to being a mom and helping moms is why I even started this podcast. So that's amazing that you said that, we're going to do the will of what God wants us to do.
Yeah, I'm going to have to connect with you because I'm homeschooling my girls just because of the pandemic. and I'm reading books and trying to figure out, the best strategies to make sure that they're retaining what I'm teaching them,
Right.
but also keeping them engaged and encouraged. And, they're at different stages too. So trying to like, okay, Aubrey, sit still, don't sit on top of the puzzle,
Right.
let your sister do the puzzle. So, I'm going to connect with you because I could use some guidance around homeschooling and just making sure that I'm doing the right things.
Oh yeah, of course. I've been homeschooled when I was young for about 3-4 years. So I have my own personal experience. And then I homeschool my kids now. All of my kids, I have 3 kids here, and they're homeschooled right now, really because of the pandemic. But I think I want to keep it that way, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's my plan too, to kind of keep it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see though. So that's great. So I understand that you becoming a mother and everything inspired you to start your business. So can you tell everyone who where they could find you and what's the name of your business?
Yeah. So when I had talked about wanting an unmedicated hospital birth, everyone thought I was crazy, right? Like my family was like, girl, it's going to be so painful. It's going to be so this. And I heard all of their birth stories, but I just felt like it could be different because I was reading about doulas and I was reading about natural birth. And my doula allowed me to have such an amazing experience for both births that I wanted to be able to offer that to other women who look like me, who may not think that is possible. So I launched my business. It is called Mama, MAMA, and that's an acronym for Mom's Advocate and Maternal Advisor. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at Mama Birth Services. And again, we offer childbirth classes, doula services, and lactation counseling.
Perfect. The total pack. I just love total package type of businesses because since we are moms of like multiple kids, I don't have time to go to this place, that place, call this. Listen, I just want to do one-stop shop and we're done. So that is amazing. How do you take payment? Do you take insurance or is it just out of pocket?
I don't take any insurance. It is out of pocket. There is some legislation going through to try to get doulas covered. Lactation support is covered, but I don't accept insurance right now. I'm just kind of getting started. We just hit 1 year on November 5th. I'm super excited about that, but I do hope to, get to the place where I can accept insurance in the future. But right now it's just payment accepted through electronic payment.
Right. I do believe when it comes to that type of business, I think if you hire like a midwife or a doctor who actually is able to take prescriptions and stuff, you probably could get insurance paid for that way, accepted that way too. So that would be great. So I can't wait to see your growth.
Thank you.
That's great. So be sure to download Diverse Mama Podcast on wherever you listen, such as Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Join our FB page, Diverse Mama Podcast Support Group, which is a place for us to vent about mommy issues, relationship problems, or anything regarding being a woman. It is a safe space for us to seek advice from others who have experienced what you may be going through. Don't forget to share to help the community. And thanks for listening, Diverse Mamas. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me, Di.